Welcome to my channel, where I say there are only two types of Republicans, the selfish and the stupid. Which one are you? I think there's some stupid Democrats out there too, by the way. Let's hear what the big orange man has to say.
I want to get to another voter. Caitlin Boissonneau is a student here at St. Anselm College. She's a Republican.
Well, if there's only two types of Republicans, the selfish and the stupid, I wonder what kind she is. Probably the selfish one.
Will be the first election that she has voted in. What's her question for the president, Caitlin?
Hello, President Trump.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves.
I don't know where in the hell he got the idea that our military doesn't have enough ammunition right now because of what we're sending to Ukraine. If somebody knows what he's talking about, please let me know.
If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that.
I don't know of any Democrats that admit that. I sure as hell don't admit it.
Putin knew it would have never happened, and his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened.
As you can see, this girl is shaking her head like she believes him. So I guess I was wrong in saying she was one of the selfish Republicans.
But this
Which
would never have
Democrats
happened.
say that,
And
Mr.
all those
President?
dead people, both Russian.
He's ignoring the question of which Democrats have said this because he knows it's not true. He just makes up shit off the top of his head.
Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have been invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax #1 when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
That was
I
when
happened
you
to
asked him
like.
for an
So I
investigation in
happened to
exchange
like.
for
Yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You
I
were
was
impeached over
impeached.
that. But let's stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question is, would you give Ukraine
I
weapons
was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But the
Pelosi.
question
Anyone who goes around saying that he would date his daughter if she wasn't his daughter or that he fell in love with Kim Jong-un should not be accusing anyone else of being crazy.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Really being tough, and so was he. And we would go back and forth. And then we fell in love. Okay? No, really. He wrote me beautiful letters. And they're great letters. We fell in love. But you know what? Now they'll say, Donald Trump said they fell in love. How horrible.
Yes, I'll say it. It's horrible that he fell in love with Kim Jong-un, one of the world's most brutal, horrible dictators of all time.
here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with.
Why should anyone believe that he can keep this promise when he also promised us that he would get Mexico to pay for the wall and that he would appoint a special prosecutor to go after Hillary, which he failed to do? I'm going to make a prediction. If Trump does get in the Oval Office and he succeeds at keeping his promise of ending this war within 24 hours, it'll be because he's the best president ever. And I'll admit he deserves some accolades for it. But if he fails, it will be somebody else's fault. It won't be his fault. Just like it wasn't his fault that he failed to get Mexico to pay for the wall.
Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be
Do
absolutely
you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country.
You know, that sounds like a really wonderful thing to say until you actually think about it. I agree. I want the killing to stop too. But I also don't want the people of the Ukraine to suffer under a brutal dictator like Putin.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians.
Trump doesn't give a fuck about people dying, because if he did, he would have never said he loved Kim Jong-un.
And then we fell in love.
What he cares about is getting praise. Now, if he gets into the Oval Office, I believe he will do his best to try to end that war within 24 hours, but not because he cares about people dying. It's because he wants the praise. He wants everyone to say, oh, you're the best president ever, and to kiss his ass. But I'm going to add to that. If somehow he does end the war within 24 hours, I will also kiss his ass for it and give him a lot of praise for it. Because, hell, he'll deserve it then.
I want him to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money.
If you can end the war within 24 hours of becoming president, why would you worry about getting Europe to put up more money?
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you respected President Putin. Do you still respect him today?
He says he respects President Putin, who's a vicious dictator, and he also loves Kim Jong-un. This guy has a thing for evil dictators, and I think the reason is because he wants to be an all-powerful dictator.
He made a tremendous mistake.
It's really fucked up to describe invading a country and getting a lot of people killed as a tremendous mistake.
He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart.
Well, Trump sure as hell isn't smart. He had to pay someone to take the SATs for him.
He said President Xi of China, right, is smart. Okay, 1.5 billion people. He's the ruler of 1.5 billion people.
He is the evil dictator of 1.5 billion people.
And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his mistake?
His mistake was going in. He would have never gone in if I was president. We used to talk about it, too.
I see a lot of idiots are applauding him for saying that. You have no idea what he would have done if you were president.
Do you believe that he is a war criminal?
What?
Do you believe that Putin is a war criminal? He's responsible for the deaths of thousands of Ukrainian men and women and
I think it's something that should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later, because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped.
Now, that actually sounds like something reasonable to say. I could see Putin being less likely to listen to someone who has called him a war criminal. But I think the main reason he doesn't call Putin a war criminal is because he seems to like Putin. He seems to like brutal dictators. This man is mentally deranged. Now I'm going to say something that may seem contradictory and make me look like an idiot after what I've just said. I think it's possible that Donald Trump, if he gets into the White House, he might be able to end the war with Ukraine. The reason I say that is not because he cares about the people dying, but because he's going to want to end it really bad so he can get a lot of praise. And this man is a narcissistic, deranged cult leader who's great at manipulating people. He did a great job of manipulating Kim Jong-un into getting him to release Otto Warmbier. He did a great job of manipulating his cult followers into storming the Capitol. This man is good. I don't think he can make such a ridiculous promise that he can end it within 24 hours, though. He might not be able to end it at all, or he might be able to end it. I really don't know. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised with him. And if he was to get into the White House and end the war, that would be great. But I still don't think anyone should support him, because I think he is a very dangerous, narcissistic, deranged cult leader who only cares about his own self and getting praise from everybody. He loves his power and his money. He does not love our country. And when it comes time for him not to be president anymore, he will do whatever he has to hold on to his power. If he thinks rallying his followers into storming the Capitol again will help him hold on to his power, he will do it. I think if he came up with the idea that using nuclear weapons would help him hold his power, he would do it. This man is dangerous and does not need to be president. And no matter how much power he gets, it will never be enough to satisfy him. He wants to be a dictator, and he's willing to do whatever he has to get it. And a lot of his cult followers seem to want to, elect him as dictator for life. I think he suffers from narcissistic personality disorder, and he does not need to be president.